Former Bulls guard Talen Horton-Tucker signed with Turkish club Fenerbahçe Istanbul. Former Chicago Bulls guard Talen Horton-Tucker is taking his talents overseas, signing a one-year, $1 million deal with Fenerbahçe Istanbul, one of the most successful basketball clubs in Europe. The move was first reported by Andrea Caltoni, and it marks the first time Horton-Tucker will play professionally outside of the NBA. At just 24 years old, Horton-Tucker has already put together a 6-year NBA career, something many second-round picks never achieve. Drafted 46th overall by the Los Angeles Lakers in 2019, the 6'4" guard has had his ups and downs in the league, showing flashes of promise but struggling at times with consistency and finding a steady role on competitive rosters. Horton-Tucker's NBA journey. Horton-Tucker entered the league as one of the youngest players in his draft class, just 18 at the time. His rookie season with the Lakers saw limited minutes, but he gained valuable experience learning from stars like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. During the Lakers' 2020 NBA championship run, Horton-Tucker wasn't a major contributor, but he did suit up for the team and became part of the development pipeline. It was in the 2020-21 season when Horton-Tucker began to make a name for himself. His ball handling ability, defensive versatility, and ability to create off the dribble gave the Lakers an intriguing young option. However, his shooting inconsistencies, particularly from beyond the arc, often limited how much he could stay on the floor in high-stakes situations. After 3 seasons in Los Angeles, he was traded to the Utah Jazz, where he received more opportunity. In Utah, Horton-Tucker had stretches of productive play, including games where he scored over 30 points, but he also struggled to cement himself as a long-term starter. His combination of strength and skill always stood out, yet decision-making and shooting efficiency continued to be areas of concern. By 2023, he found himself signing with the Chicago Bulls, where he played as a bench guard last season. In 58 appearances, he averaged 6.5 points per game on 45% shooting from the field and 34% from three-point range. While those numbers were solid for a role player, they weren't enough to secure a long-term future with the Bulls. Over his career, Horton-Tucker has posted averages of 9.2 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 2.7 assists while shooting 43% overall and 30% from deep. Why the move to Europe makes sense for Horton-Tucker. The decision to join Fenerbahçe could represent both a reset and an opportunity. In the NBA, he was often caught between being a developmental project and a role player who didn't quite fit the needs of his teams. In Turkey, he will likely have a much larger role and more freedom to play to his strengths. Fenerbahçe Istanbul is not just any overseas team. They are a powerhouse in both the Turkish Basketball Super League and the EuroLeague, often competing at the highest level against clubs like Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, and Anadolu Efes. Playing in Europe could give Horton-Tucker the chance to showcase his game in a new environment, possibly paving the way for an NBA return down the line. Several NBA players in the past, such as Mike James, Shane Larkin, and Nemanja Bjelica, have used strong EuroLeague performances as a springboard to either earn bigger roles in the NBA or extend their professional careers at a high level internationally. Horton-Tucker may see a similar path. What this means for the Chicago Bulls. While Horton-Tucker wasn't a cornerstone piece of the Bulls' rotation, his departure is another small indicator that Chicago is entering a period of transition. The Bulls' 2025 offseason has already been eventful, and not always in ways that inspire confidence in immediate contention. The team's front office has been navigating a tricky balance between retooling and fully committing to a rebuild. The trade of Lonzo Ball to the Cleveland Cavaliers in exchange for Isaac Okoro was one sign that Chicago is shifting away from the roster core that was assembled just a few years ago. Meanwhile, restricted free agent Josh Giddey remains at the center of contract negotiations that will likely determine whether the Bulls lean toward youth development or attempt to stay competitive in the short term. Chicago's roster right now lacks the kind of premier young star that fans and analysts often look for in a rebuilding team. Veterans like DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Jokic have either moved on or are nearing the end of their runs with the franchise, while former centerpiece Zach LaVine has also been at the center of trade speculation. Horton-Tucker's exit doesn't drastically alter the Bulls' outlook, but it underscores the reality the team is not prioritizing keeping fringe veterans as they recalibrate for the future. Instead, the Bulls may use the 2025-26 season as a bridge year, focusing more on evaluating young talent, accumulating draft assets, and positioning themselves for a stronger rebuild. The turning point for both sides for Horton-Tucker. This move represents a chance to regain confidence, refine his game, and potentially become one of the standout guards in Europe. At 24, he still has years ahead of him, and a productive stint with Fenerbahçe could open doors for another NBA chapter. For the Bulls, this is another small step in a larger organizational shift. While losing a bench guard won't make headlines in the same way a blockbuster trade might, every departure adds to the bigger picture of a team that seems ready to hit reset. Looking ahead as Horton-Tucker embarks on this new journey in Turkey, fans of both the NBA and EuroLeague will be curious to see how he adapts to the European style of play. The physicality, pace, and emphasis on team-oriented basketball in the EuroLeague often challenge players used to the NBA's one-on-one structure. If he thrives, Horton-Tucker could become a key piece for Fenerbahçe's championship aspirations. Meanwhile, the Bulls face a season full of questions. Are they truly ready to rebuild? Can they find their next franchise player? And how will younger pieces like Josh Giddey or Isaac Okoro fit into the long-term vision? For now, both stories, Horton-Tucker's overseas move and Chicago's uncertain future, illustrate how quickly careers and franchises can pivot in professional basketball.